Chief guest of the day, Dr. Arvind Kumar, who's going to give us his Gyan today. My friend Chandramoli ji and all my friends from AMA. It is indeed my delight and privilege to welcome Dr. Arvind Kumar to give a kind of a keynote address in AMA on World Environment Day, which went yesterday. Dr. Arvind Kumar is a multifaceted, versatile, knowledgeable, erudite, and a wonderful individual in the space of environment that covers everything that surrounds us. Water first, we talk about earth, we talk about space, we talk about, say energy. Everything that we talk about, he is connected in some way or the other. I have not met anybody in the country who has got as much connectivity with the global organizations and UN organization as he has got. You must look at his profile in LinkedIn and other places to understand the depth and width of the work that he has been doing. He has got double PhD. First PhD of his is in medical astrology. And that's why he's close to many people that matter in the country, because he's one of the best medical astrologers. Not that he spends much time, because after doing his second PhD, which is on geopolitics or the defense strategy, he is a much sought after thought leader in areas which are of importance in defense or geopolitics. But mind it, he wears so many hats and his output is so prolific that I wonder as to how he can get the time. He has been publishing magazines, he has been writing, probably more than 500 articles have been written by him. He is very active on LinkedIn and the social media. But to just tell you a few things, UNFCCC, UNEA, UNEP, and naturally our own ministries. He has been a member of many of the working groups and task forces of Government of India, particularly MOEFCC, that is the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And above all, he is a very silent influencer of the policies within the country. You would have all heard about Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and open defecation free that was started by Honorable Modi ji in 2014. But the seed of that was laid by him in the year 2013 with the Swachh Abhiyan, because he has been working on water, sanitation and health, and he has been a partner of many of the UN organizations. He is an observer for some of the UN organizations that gives him the clout and ability to influence and modulate and mold thinking of Southeast, Southwest countries, including India. He is obviously a champion of sustainable development, and many of the things that he is doing are a part of sustainable development goals, wherein he is contributing continuously. We were thinking of inviting somebody of substance at AMA for Environment Day, and I suggested to Unmesh Bhai that my friend Dr. Arvind Kumar will surely be the right person to come, because he is a man with a whole lot of work at his back. Very silent worker, and he has been responsible for development of many of the states, especially Meghalaya, because he has built bridges between Northeast and the other states of the country. He has been an advisor to Meghalaya government for a long time. I think around 15 to 16 years, I'm not wrong, 15 to 16 years, he's been advising Meghalaya government in shaping many policies. And that has, as a matter of fact, made Meghalaya an exemplary state in the Northeast. If Modi ji talks about Gujarat model, he also talks about Meghalaya model when he's talking about the Northeast. So I would definitely like you to listen to him with rapt attention, because each thing that he's doing and each point that you would be making would be of great value to us. And I'm sure that we will be richer with his knowledge and his wisdom, and above all his work. Believe me or not, today morning we had a round table on a very interesting topic, pragmatic environmental economics for Viksit Bharat, where he naturally had many points to suggest, and we realized that the work that he has done is going to deliver multifold benefit to all of us. And with this, I would like to welcome Dr. Arvind Kumar, and I would request all of you to give him a big round of welcome. On behalf of AMA, I would like to present a small memento to him, which is, I think, a Pachedi word.
Matani Pachedi.
A Matani Pachedi, which is, so of course, our local art or local craft. So, Dr. Arvind. And with that, I would request Dr. Arvind Kumar to come and share his knowledge, his wisdom, and whatever he has done so far, so that we can take some lessons from it. Thank you.
Good evening to everyone, dignitaries, faculty members, colleagues, and dear students. I sincerely thank the organizer and the Ahmedabad Management Association for inviting me to speak on this vital occasion of World Environment Day 2025 on crucial theme of water and waste. Let us begin by recognizing that water is the backbone of every sector. That's why it's a connector. And it's a transversal approach if you can understand a relation with the various SDGs as well. In agriculture, which supports nearly half of the world population, India's population, water marks the line between the abundance and scarcity, between prosperity and struggle as well. In industry, it is the indispensable, and manufacturing, cooling, and the innovation. Urban centers, health systems, our energy networks, all depend on water availability. When water flows freely, development flows. When it's stalled, the consequences through every domain because of very cross-cutting nature. It is a time we fundamentally consider how we perceive water. Historically viewed as a basic necessity for survival, water today is the far more than that. It is a dynamic economic catalyst, a barometer for environmental resilience, and a cornerstone of the sustainable growth. It's permits everything. Its presence or absence echoes across the economies, ecosystems, and enterprises. The World Bank warned that 2050 water scarcity could be reduce the GDP of certain region by up to 6%. And this is not just data; it's an urgent signal. Shortages disrupts industries, surprise agriculture, destabilize economies, and weaken infrastructure. Convincingly, where water is well managed, prosperous follows. Water is also measurable indicator of economic health. Its journey from the source through pipes and pumps to every household at tap mirrors to, because most of the people understand as a tap water mirrors the vitality of our systems. Efficient delivery curbs losses, enhance savings, and boost productivity. Even modest investments in the safe water access has been shown in yield substantial GDP gains. Each drop preserved, each leak repaired, every system modernized propels us towards shared prosperity. Water supports economic value shares across the board, from agriculture and manufacturing to food processing, and the technology relies on water. In India, agriculture alone account for nearly 80% of the water consumption. Managing this resource judiciously is not only environmentally responsible, it is a strategic imperative for productivity, food security, and the investment potential. And it is not just quantity that matters. Quality and accessibility also reflects broader environmental and societal conditions. Contaminated rivers, depleted aquifers uh, point to systemic degradation and institutional lapses. According to the United Nations, over 2 billion people still access to safely managed drinking water, a gap that contains not just health but also education, equity, and economic growth. This is precisely why forward thinking businesses are redefining their relationship with water. No sustainability agenda is complete without confronting water related risks and obligations. This brings us to idea of water transversality. Actually, transversality term, when I was board governor of the World Water Council, so this is given by India Water for me. Then after that, many agencies, including GWP, World Bank, adopted. And in the past, we almost did 13 high level and more programs on that transversity. Everybody understand about the sustainability now nexus as well, but transversity a word where water connection with the all SDG goals, right from poverty to nobody left behind. So there is some connection with water. Cannot be confined to single domain. It cut across agriculture, industry, climate action, urban development, and more. How we grow, govern water mirrors how we manage our economies as a whole with inclusivity, efficiency, and foresight. Ultimately, the availability, quality, and efficient use of water are not just environmental considerations, they are fundamental economic determinants. They shape productivity, guide investment, secure business continuity, and impact the well being of society at large. India received abundant rainfall, yet we capture and store only a fraction of it. Although some community-driven project across state like Rajasthan and Maharashtra has shown us the transformative power of harvesting every drop, but conservation does not end here. Reclaiming and reusing wastewater is equally vital. By treating the recycling wastewater, we not only reduce the pressure on our freshwater resources, but also support agriculture and industry and protect our rivers and groundwater. The government is investing in expanding sewage and treatment capacity and promoting the reuse of the treated water STPs that are essential for water secure future. Take the example of your state Gujarat, known for its entrepreneurial spirit and innovation drive, has consistently demonstrated how proactive governance and community engagement can turn challenges into opportunity. It, it has emerged as a leader in pioneering sustainable water and waste management solutions and scaling up desalination plants along with its coastline. And cities like Surat and Nagpur has demonstrated models for treated wastewater being used for thermal power plants and irrigation. A state like Delhi, despite being the capital, is struggling the river Yamuna. However, the Sabarmati riverfront stands as a testament to this, transforming a once degraded river stretch into a vibrant urban space that balances ecological restoration with economic vital and civic pride. According to recent data from the Ministry of Jal Shakti 2024 data, India is now treating over 40% of its urban wastewater and improvement, but still far from the scale needed. Yet, despite these promising breakthrough, we have not been able to materialize major widespread impact. Why? So this is the question behind all of us, because these innovations often remain fragmented, isolated, and pilot based. One of the biggest obstacles today is the mismanagement and siloed approach of water across different sectors. Water governance often suffers from the fragmentation. Meaning different agencies or different departments handle water, agriculture, urban planning, and the environment separately. Without coordination, this lead to inefficiencies and conflicting policies. For example, river basin management may clash with the administrative boundaries, causing local interest to override border sustainable water strategies. This result is the lack of unified action, slow progress, and missed opportunities to address water challenges holistically. At this point, I find it important to address a common misconception. India is not a water scarce nation. We have blessed with the world's ninth largest freshwater reserve, over 1,060 uh, 600 billion cubic meter annually. The real challenge is not scarcity but mismanagement, insufficient distribution, pollution, lack of storage, and over extraction mean that much of this water is wasted or rendered unusable. Climate change is compounding these problems, bringing erratic rains, droughts, and floods that threaten our water security. The issue is not the lack of resources, rather, it is the system itself that is flawed. When we realize that the system is the root of the problem, the challenge is no longer about the managing scarcity, but about diagnosing the real dysfunctions that sustain efficiency and equality. True progress depends on our ability to ask the right questions, not just what is wrong, but why it is wrong. When we know why, only when then can we figure out how real transformation begins with a systemic diagnosis and is sustained by a reimagined way of treating the problem at its core. India Water Foundation came into being with a deep understanding that the true barrier of the progress in water and environmental governance are not merely technical or financial, they are systemic. The problem stem from fragmented efforts, lack of synergy among stakeholders, and the limited knowledge flow across levels. Recognizing this, the foundation was established as a response to the urgent need for cooperation, coordination, and convergence, three pillars that form the basis of integrated and inclusive development. Beyond addressing challenges, India Water Foundation was conceived as a platform to sensitize and strategize the effectively galvanize collective efforts and incentivize community engagement. That's why we started the mission that time, Jal Mitra program. Our work is driven by the belief that sustainable transformation begins when people are not just beneficiaries but active participant in the change making process. Equally critical to our vision is the role of knowledge, both traditional and scientific. We are committed to assimilating information from diverse sources and disseminating it meaningfully to the local communities, particularly to the bottom rungs to the society who are most affected by environmental vulnerabilities. By translating complex idea into the actionable insights, we bridge the gaps between the policy and practice, and between top level uh, planning and the grassroots action. In doing so, we foster a culture of shared responsibility and resilience where every stakeholder is both informed and empowered to contribute to a more sustainable future. Do you know what really goes into delivering every drop of water that reaches our taps? No. It's easy to take this flow for granted, but behind it lies a complex web of costs and the processes that we really see. First, water must be extracted from the natural sources like river, lakes, reservoirs, or underground aquifers. This requires substantial infrastructure, dams, pipelines, most critical treatment plants. For example, installing a domestic water treatment plant can cost anywhere from approximately $1,000 to $4,000, while a municipal scale plant can be ranged from almost $2 lakh to almost 1.27 million, depending on the system size and complexity. These facilities are essential for removing contaminants and ensuring the water is safe to drink. Once treated water need to be pumped sometime across vast distances and to significant heights to reach homes and businesses. This process is energy intensive. For instance, the energy cost of the piping water depends on factors like the volume, distance, and the elevation. Even this efficient pumps and motors, these costs add up the quickly, especially for large cities and uh, sprawling rural networks. Every kilowatt hour consumed in the process is in the expense that must be factored into a true cost of water. Then delivering clean water doesn't not a one-time effort. Continuous operations and maintenance we require to keep treatment plants and distribution network functioning. This includes routine cleaning system repairs and replacement of the worn out parts. Additionally, water quality must be constantly monitored to ensure safety standards are met, which involves both labor and technology instruments. Given all these uh, imbibed cost from the infrastructure and energy to maintain an environmental stewardship, it is clear that the price we pay for the water should be reflect its real value. When water is underpriced or given free, it sends the wrong economic signals and leads to overuse and wastage. Particularly in agriculture, the world largest freshwater consumer. Let's take example of Delhi, where this issue is clear. The government policy of offering 20,000 liters of the free water per household each month, recently extended to tenants, was intended to support vulnerable groups but has resulted in significant challenges. The cities suffer from the revenue shortfalls as many consumers do not pay for water, leaving insufficient funds to maintain or upgrade infrastructure. This has led to a persistent leaks, poor services delivery, and a staggering of water 50%, 58% being lost as non-revenue water. With only 29 lakh water connections for over 20 million people, coverage and billing remain insufficient. Efficient. Ultimately, while free water policies aim to ensure basic needs, they often undermine uh, conservation efforts and sustainable management, highlighting the need for pricing that reflect water's true value while protecting the most vulnerable. There is another often overlooked cost, the ecosystem. Degraded watersheds due to the deforestation, urbanization, or pollution directly increase water treatment expenses. A global study found that watershed degradation has raised water treatment cost for about 1 in 3 large cities, adding up to staggering $5.6 billion per year worldwide. So, investing in ecosystem restoration and protection can help reduce these costs over time and ensure a more sustainable water supply. When we discuss ecosystem restoration, we have two different paradigm, like the traditional management approach and the understanding based approach. Former one has been reactive. For example, when pollution level spike or in the river gets contaminated, action is taken only after the problem becomes visible and urgent. This means we are often putting out fires instead of preventing them in first place. This approach is also technology focused. The first response to environmental issue is often to deploy new technology like water treatment plants or air filters without fully understanding the broader context. While these solutions can help, they sometimes address only the symptoms, not the root cause. Top down implementation is another common feature. decisions about the environmental policies or projects are usually made by the government agencies or corporate leaders with little input from the local communities who are directly affected. This can lead to a solution that cannot fit the local context or fail to gain public support. Finally, there is a focus on short-term optimization, for instance, meeting annual emission targets or quickly restoring damaged areas where these are important. They can sometimes overlook the long-term health of the ecosystem. Now, it is contrast that with the understanding based approach, which is increasingly seen as essential for tackling today's complex environmental challenges. This approach started with systems thinking and root cause analysis. Instead of just treating pollution or habitat loss or isolated problem, we look at the entire integrated ecosystem, how water, soil, plant, animal, human activities are interconnected. For example, rather than just cleaning up a polluted river, we might investigate agriculture runoff, industrial waste, urban planning to understand what's the really driving the issue. It is also involved a historic ecosystem, holistic ecosystem consideration. We recognize that protecting the environmental is not just one species or one resources, it also maintaining the balance of the entire ecosystem. It is about maintaining the balance of entire ecosystem. According to the 2024 UNEP restoration project that take a historic approach are up to 50% more effective in sustaining biodiversity. First, ecosystem services over the long time, participatory decision making is a key part of the paradigm. Local communities, indigenous groups, scientists, and the policymaker work together to create solutions. This not only lead to better outcomes, but also empower people who are most affected by the environmental changes. A recent World Bank study found that community-led conservation projects are 35% more likely to achieve their goals compared to top-down initiatives. This approach is focused on long-term resilience building instead of quick fixes. The goal is to create ecosystems and communities that can adapt to changing conditions like climate change, drought, or floods. This might mean restoring wetlands, diversifying crops, or investing in education and local stewardship. Let me remind that this is not just confined to India or South Asia, but is for the entire global South. Despite progress, access to clean water remains deeply unequal. As of 2025, 703 million people, almost 1 in 10 globally, still lack clean water close to home. Over 2.2 billion people do not have safely managed drinking water services. Infrastructure gaps are star cast in rural areas and low income countries where water systems are often outdated, underfunded, or simply non-existent. This equality fuels cycle of poverty, poor health, and social instability. Climate change dramatically altering the water cycle. We are witnessing more frequent and severe droughts, floods, and extreme weather event. In 2024, the world experienced its hottest year on the record, with devastating impact on water systems ranging from the flash flood in South Asia to wildfire in North America and Australia. Melting glaciers and unpredictable rainfalls are making water supplies less reliable, especially for the billions who depend on the mountain melt water for drinking, farming, and energy. By 2025, up to two-thirds of the world's population could face water challenge shortages, and 1.8 billion people are projected to live in the areas of absolute water scarcity. The dominant economic model is linear. We extract water, use it, and often dispose it, often without treating or reusing it. This can make waste approach is unsustainable. It depletes freshwater resources, pollutes the environment, and fails to recover value from the wastewater. Now, let me steer you through some of the most exciting and transformative opportunities that the shaping this future for sustainable development, particularly in the water sector and the beyond, starting with the circular water economy, very hot topic these days, and resource recovery. The circular economy approach is changing the narrative of linear model by promoting the reuse, recycling, and recover of the water valuable resources imbibed in wastewater such as nutrients, energy, and organic matter. For example, innovative wastewater treatment plants today can recover phosphorus, a critical fertilizer component, reducing dependency on the finite mineral reserves. According to the latest UN report, adopting circular water practices can reduce global water demand by up to 30% by 2030. This is crucial as water scarcity affects over 40% of the global population today. Moving on, the concept of revenue from the waste is gaining momentum. Waste is no longer just a disposal problem, it is an economic opportunity. By extracting value from the waste streams, whether it is a organic waste converted into biogas, plastics recycled into new products, or industrial bioproducts turned into the construction materials, we can create new revenues streams. Globally, the circular economy related to waste is projected to generate over $4.5 trillion in economic benefits by 2030. This shift not only supports environmental sustainability but also creates jobs and stimulates local economies. A particularly impactful area in the growth of MSME through water interconnection is an important area. MSMEs are the backbone of many economies, especially in developing countries. By fostering innovation in water technologies such as affordable water purification, decentralized wastewater treatment, and smart irrigation systems, MSME can drive local economic growth while addressing water challenges. Recent data shows the water-related SMEs has grown over 15% annually in regions like South Asia and Africa, where access to clean water remains a critical issue. Supporting these enterprises with financing, training, technology can multiply their impact exponentially. Next, technology innovation and digital solutions are revolutionizing how we manage water and resources, from LOT sensors that monitor water quality in real time to AI driven predictive analysis that optimize water distribution. Technology is making water management smarter and more efficient. For instance, smart water meters and leak detection systems have helped city reduce water losses by 20%, saving millions of the liter annually. Digital platforms also enable better stakeholder coordination and transparency, which is essential for sustainable resource management. Another critical opportunity lies in SDG linked investment flows. Investors worldwide are increasingly aligning their portfolios with the SDGs. Recognize that sustainable water management key to achieve multiple goals, from health and well-being to climate action. In 2024 alone, global sustainable finance flows reached over $2 trillion with a significant portion directed toward water infrastructure, sanitation, circular economy projects. This trend is expected to accelerate as a governments and the private sector collaboration to meet their climate and development commitments. Friends, let's dive into the circular thinking principle, the foundation for building a truly sustainable, resilient, and value driven circular economy. At the heart of the circular thinking is the system thinking. This means we don't just look at the single product or the process in isolation. Instead, we consider the entire system, how material, products, people, and processes are also interconnected. In circular model, we focus on creating value not just for businesses, but for society and environment. This can mean designing product that last longer or easier to repair or can be reused in new ways. For instance, by extending the life of the smartphones by just 1 year, we can save millions of the tons of the CO2 emission annually. Value creation is about innovating so that every step in the life cycle added worth, its worth, rather than just extracting and discarding resources. Closely linked in is value sharing. Circularity work best when the benefits are distributed across the ecosystem between manufacturers, users, service providers, and even communities. By working together, we create joint value, increase transparency, and build trust, which is essential for scaling circular solutions. The ecosystem is too resilient, which can adapt and thrive in the face of change. This means not just minimizing harm, but actively regenerating natural systems like adopting regenerative agriculture or investing in reforestation. The circular economy aims to restore ecosystem, decoupling growth from resources use and build a business model that can withstand shocks, whether from the climate change, resources scarcity, and market shifts. When all these come into motion, that comes the economic opportunity for circularity, which is both vast and accelerating. The global circular economy market is set to grow from 463 billion in 2024 to nearly 518 billion in 2025, with a strong annual growth rate of around 11.8%. Looking further ahead, the market could reach nearly 800 billion by 2029, and more forecasts see the potential climbing to up to 2.2 trillion by 2034, reflecting the scale and momentum behind the shift. This growth is driven by urgent environmental pressures, raising waste, resource depletion, and climate change, which are promoting businesses and governments to rethink how we use materials. Instead of traditional take, make, dispose model, the circular economy keeps products and resources in use for as long as possible. Through reuse, repair, recycling, and remanufacturing, this not only reduces environmental impact but also open up new revenue streams and business models, especially as e-commerce, digital resale platforms, and smart city initiative expand. Key drivers include urban mining, which recover valuable material from the waste, the rise of the digital and e-commerce platforms enabling new circular business models, and policy measures like extended producer responsibility. This is where you can understand EPR, that incentivize recycling and sustainable waste design. These trends are not just global. India alone is projected to unlock. Yeah. So, yeah. To unlock 2 trillion circular market and with the potential for millions of the new jobs as the sector grows. However, we need some key enablers that can help us truly scale circularity and unlock a full potential. When we come to the solid waste, plastic is now one of the most pressing environmental hazard of our time, with global plastic waste projected to reach 460 million ton annually by 2025, and the staggering 91% of that waste remaining uncycled. This is not just a static, but it's wake-up call, especially as we approach this year's Plastic Overshoot Day on the 5th September, when the world plastic waste will officially exceed the capacity of the waste system to manage. To address this crisis, we need a multi-layered approach started with the people-centered interventions, because change starts with the people. By raising awareness, promoting responsible consumption, we can shift community habit away from single-use plastics. Simple nudge like incentivizing reusable bags or running local clean up drives have proven effective in reducing litter and uh, encouraging sustainable choices. Educational campaigns and the community engagement are crucial. Prevention is always better than the cure. Effective waste collection is the backbone of any plastic strategy. However, in 2025, nearly a third of all plastic produced is still mismanaged and end up polluting our air, water, and soil. Expanding the modernizing waste management infrastructure, especially in developing regions, is essential to prevent plastic from leaking into the environment. Currently, only 9% of the plastic waste is recycled globally. We need to scale up recycling systems and invest in upcycling, transforming plastics into higher value products. Policies like extended producer responsibility can push manufacturers to design producers that are easily to recycle and to take responsibility for their end of life management. The future lies in turning waste into wealth. By integrating waste pickers, entrepreneurs, and the local communities into the recycling value chain, we can create jobs, support livelihoods, and foster local economies. Similarly, instead of treating used water as a waste, the circular economy see it as a valuable resource. By rethinking waste source recycle, like treating it for the irrigation industry or even portable use, we can keep in the loop and reduce pressure on freshwater supplies. We should focus on the quality of treated water, not whether it is from the recycled or original source. If recycled water meets safety and quality standards, it should be used confidently by various purposes, encouraging innovation and wider adaptation of water reuse. Third, storing treated water in reservoirs or aquifer act as a strategic water bank. Efficient system to collect, treat, and redistribute water, including across regions, help cities and industries manage supply and demand, especially during the shortages. Fourth, unified standards for the water use, recycling, recovery from are crucial. Harmonization in unsecure, safe, efficient, and scalable circular water practices across the borders, supporting international cooperation and investment. Last enabler is the urban wastewater that contains nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus. Recovering these for use as a fertilizer, support agriculture, reduce pollutant closer to make systems more circular and resilient. We need to deploy a range of innovative technology to bring these technology model to scale. Significant and innovative investment is required. These financial instruments are increasingly used to fund water and waste infrastructure projects, supporting sustainable upgrades and new circular systems. Dedicated climate funds are vital for building resilient water infrastructure that can withstand extreme weather and climate change impact, especially in vulnerable regions. Trying investment return to measurable sustainability outcome like water saving and pollutant reduction, aligning financial incentivize with the UN strategies. So, yeah. So it's worth mentioning here for any model or system to succeed, we need a sustained business model. These are not just about technology and infrastructure; they are about the creating value, sharing risk, and ensuring financial sustainability for all. A stakeholder involving public-private partnership models are increasing water in water sector. So just escape some of the things. So just giving some example. So example of Denmark, how water and nutrients recycle can smartly integrated to address the dual crisis of pollution and agriculture degradation by turning wastewater from the pollution burden into a source of nutrients. Denmark has redefined how nation can approach sustainable agriculture and environmental protection. Similarly, Denmark model has yielded profound co-benefits. It reduced nutrients inflow into rivers and seas, especially in the Baltic Sea, improved soil health through organic nutrient reintegration, reusing nutrients, helping lower greenhouse emissions by recycling nutrients domestically. Denmark minimizing dependency on imported fertilizer raw material. This comprehensive model harmonizing agriculture with ecology, water quality, and food security. This brings me to a crucial point: the sustainability of water. Sustainability of water is the sustainability of development itself. If we manage our water resources wisely by conserving, replenishing, and using them efficiently, we ensure that growth is not in one time achievement but a continuous journey. Sustainable water management means food security for our farmers, uninterrupted production for our industries, and healthy, thriving community for all. Such models demonstrate that development and sustainability are not competing goals, they are completely when pursued with the vision, coordination, community engagement. And now, in the time, the institutionalizing these successes, we at India Water Foundation believe that creating a scalable framework grounded in cooperation, incentivization, and convergence can bridge the last mile gap and create ripple efforts for far beyond the original context. The time replicate into the just innovation in now. However, have you ever thought any, despite various promising initiatives from the wastewater reclamation to desalination, the river basin planning to surplus uses, we continue to struggle with large scale impact? Why? Because the real stumbling block remain deeply structural and institutional. India is the world's largest user of groundwater, extracting about 230 cubic kilometers annually, over 25% of the global uses. Nearly 90% of this is used for irrigating more than 60% of India's cultivated land through 20 billion tube wells. This excessive dependence has led to several groundwater depletion, especially in urban industrial agrarian hubs. India's water infrastructure is crumbling under the weight of the outdated pipelines, poorly managed treatment plants, and the insufficient storage systems. Water loss during the distribution is major cities often 30 to 40%, undermining services delivering and increasing cost. Erratic rainfall, intensified drought, floods, each by creating a lot of problem. According to the World Economic Forum 2025 Global Risk Report, water supply shortages are ranked as world most critical short-term risk. Over 21 major Indian cities, including Delhi, Bengaluru, and Chennai, are projected to run out the groundwater by 2025. When we speak about the national determined contributions, national adaptation plans, and vision of the Viksit Bharat by 2047, we must ask a fundamental question: can these grand ambitions succeed without deeply rooting their relevance and action? And in the everyday life of our villagers, it is at the village level, the bottom must run for our societal private, where change must begin, be nurtured and institutionalized. Only then can it originally multiply upward, influencing districts, states, and eventually the nation as a whole. If each village become a nucleus of innovation, where water conservation is not just a scheme but a community value, where waste is not a discarded but treated and reused, and where livelihoods emerge from sustainability, then the vision of self-reliant, water secure, climate resilient India becomes real and tangible. I would like to share with you all the case study of Meghalaya as well, northeastern state of India. Our solution, they are based on the perception of water as an integral part of the ecosystem, a natural resource and socio-economic indicator. IWF, as a knowledge partner of Meghalaya government, had delivered a partnership model and is the only organization sharing input to run a state flexi program, and also brought up uh, on broad UN agencies. Development partners under a unifying platform and designated a clear role and mandate to be taken up in the state. Today, Meghalaya finds mention in our Prime Minister's speeches and precedent for the entire country. The institutionalization of the Meghalaya model is a proof. It was a grounded in local realities, community knowledge, and an integrated systemic approach, bringing departments, donor, civil societies, communities together for generating livelihoods and sustainable natural resource management. It is given immense satisfaction and humility to hear that the Honorable Prime Minister of India acknowledges its value, urging other states like Uttarakhand to replicate it. That kind of recognition is not just an honor, it is a catalyst. It grounds us deeper, makes us more accountable, and encourages us to explore new frontiers with courage and convictions. Role of India Water Foundation was to assign role to all the partners in Meghalaya, whether government, donor organization, implementing organization, or others. It was the cornerstone of this model, because we must also reflect, if the government is the platform where sector actor and ideas must converge, then who play what role? When no one is assigned responsibility, accountability is the first casualty. So therefore, we define clearly mandates and role at every level, individual, institutional, and government, so that each stakeholder is both empowered and answerable. Integration, after all, does not mean overlap. It means work in synergy. So the top-down and mission-driven approach is what allows Meghalaya to rapidly scale innovations, ensuring measurable impact on the ground. As a result, the economy of the state doubled uh, in when we started this model in 5 years, creating alternative water-related livelihoods for native community, which was successful in addressing unemployment, insurgency, mining, mismining. Mining is mismining actually. So migration, reduce poverty, enhancing gender mainstream, and enhance socio-economic environmental indicator of the state. Too often, those contribute ideas, frameworks, and really support to pioneering program are sidelined once success is visible, while many are willing to share the benefits of the implementation. Few are willing to share the credit, but true transformation demand not collaboration in execution, but also recognize those who help seed the vision. The gap lies not in the innovation, but in the lack of institutionalization, integration, replication, and scalability. Should not we now take these proven approaches and integrated them into a unified framework, a model, a mandate, a guiding structure that can be tailored and adapted to different ecological and socio-economic contexts across the country and even the global south? To conclude, I would say that incorporating a water pricing regime is crucial, especially amid climate change and worsening water scarcity. What India needs to undertake urgent measures to curb the exploitation of groundwater resources and levy water tariff across the country to relieve the burden of the water crisis. Water availability has far-reaching implications in terms of the sanitation and health, which cannot be overlooked and should be internalized in the water pricing analysis. A fair pricing system that eliminates the divide between social and economic returns must be prioritized. A diverse array of policy options is available for implementing pricing strategies in water sector. These options encompass directly pricing mechanism, green taxes, effluent fees, and direct subsidies to utilize providers or end users. Nevertheless, at the heart of every lasting solution lies political will and intent, the courage to act, the foresight to sustain, and to integrate to align purpose with policy, but intent alone is not enough. It is must be backed by genuine cooperation, effective coordination, institutional convergence. These are the pillar on which success of every initiative rests. By integrating water considerations into cross-sectoral planning and policy, whether it through climate adaptation strategies, agriculture productivity, urban planning, or industrial development, this is what the transversality and it promotes coherence, reduce duplication, enable optimal use of resources. It aligns diverse stakeholders and around shared goals and strengthens institutional coordination. In essence, water transversality transformation water management from the narrow technical function into a unifying framework for the sustainable development. Without it, water security remains vulnerable to policy gaps. Without competing demands and fragmented action, which it will lay the foundation for equitable access, resilient ecosystem, and long-term socio-economic stability. Therefore, we must understand the real wisdom that does not lie in the isolation billions, but in the meaningful association where knowledge meets curiosity, where instinct is matched with action, and where systems are designed not just to function but to flourish through integration. It is such association that curiosity transforms into collaboration, integration become a culture, and governance evolve from the control to co-creation. When we commit to the right model, foster the right partnerships, and embed the right principle of equality, transparency, accountability, we create ecosystem where everyone, individual, community, business, government, has a space to thrive. Integration in the sense, not in the merger of the mandates, but a symphony of efforts harmonizing with the purpose. Only then we can truly institutionalized transformation from the grassroots to the global, ensuring that no idea, no effort, and no individual is left behind in our journey towards achieving this Viksit Bharat agenda. Thank you very much.
You can take questions now. I think we have got 10 minutes for questions, so I think the questions can be sent in writing or otherwise. Questions,
Can you share this article on website of PMU?
I know.
Yeah. So it would be better.
Most of the good things I shared on the social media. That's why a lot of people are against me.
Any plan for installing meters?
Yeah.
I heard that you were mentioning about lack of care for water wastage. So, is there any plan for installing water meters in some pilot on a pilot basis to see what happens uh, in any city, for example?
thing is that utilizing any innovation, practice, or technology like water metering or maybe other, so who can detect the leakage or identify how much water you are getting. So this is important, but one of the things is important actually are not mentioned. There should be a kind of a model basin wise. So Meghalaya actually took time, shortage of time as actually as concluded shortly. So basin wise means people living in a certain area. There are in India there are 30 basins, 30 geography. So if some people are living in a certain area, so their requirement of water, natural resources are same. Maybe the situation of Gujarat or Meghalaya or Delhi are not same. What we actually want from the sector is different. So that's why there is a need of entire need of innovation, technology, right metering, and actually how to actually make understand the people, the stakeholder, so that they can understand the pricing of the water too, because it's not a taboo now. Thank you.
Is being on social media will be there.
નમસ્કાર.
People link up with
માઇક્રોપ્લાસ્ટિક જ્યારે બી આપણે જ્યારે બી આપણે પ્લાસ્ટિકની સાથે જોડાયેલા છે સવાર ઇંગ્લિશ અચ્છા સિન્સ મોર્નિંગ વી આર યુઝિંગ પ્લાસ્ટિક બ્રશ એન્ડ મિલ્ક બેગ્સ એન્ડ સો ઓન. In that case, the water will contain the microplastics which are invisible, and it comes in our body through blood and all such things. How to minimize it or how to reduce it, and how to avoid, because so many disease through this plastic comes in the way, and that creates lot of nuisance to the human body. So how to utilize, how to minimize it or avoid it rather. Thank you.
Answer is simple. If we stopping actually, refuse, reuse, if we refuse the plastic most of the time, then this is the only solution for that, because now the microplastics reach up to the mother's milk as well and in actually brain. So you cannot stop using any technology, but only to replenish it, refuse it. So in the course of time, when we refuse the plastic, or maybe we are actually towards the biodegradable plastic, or maybe some other substitute, some North Indian states using bamboo instead of plastic. So maybe when you actually diverse from this sector, when you refuse it, this is the only solution. Thank you.
In so many ways, because plastic is so cheap, and at the same time it is very useful in that way. So how to avoid it rather.
Actually, if you actually remember, in 2018, India and UNEP initiated a program, and at that time, India actually put a deadline of 2023 that they will eliminate all the single-use plastic. But this is a very short-time notice. But it actually, I can understand, you also understand, if we try to replenish it or refuse it, actually, refuse it. Refuse it means you have to go through the other things like bamboo, maybe degradable plastic, or maybe other things. This is the only thing, because no technology can detect it.
नमस्कार सर, आपने जो वाटर शेविंग, रिड्यूस वेस्ट वगैरह की जो भी बात किया, उसमें ऑल ओवर इंडिया और वर्ल्ड लेवल से बात हुआ है. मैं लोकल बात करना चाहता हूं. मुझे मालूम नहीं है कि आप कितना समझ सकोगे या तो फिर उसका जवाब दे पाओगे. तो मैं लगभग 5 साल से वाटर के बारे में काम कर रहा हूं मेरे बेस पे. जैसे मेरी सोसाइटी है, मेरे फ्लैट्स वगैरह है, वहां पे सिविलाइजेशन वर्क कर रहा हूं. तो जो लोकल प्रॉब्लम होते हैं, जैसे आपने तो जो ऊपर लेवल से बात किया कि भी वाटर कहाँ से आता है, कैसे रिड्यूस किया है, ये XYZ, पर जो लोकल सप्लाई चेन है, जैसे कॉरपोरेशन, AMC वगैरह की, जिसका हमको कभी कभी ज्यादा, जिसको बोलते हैं ना कि क्या बोलते हैं कि अच्छी ट्रीटमेंट नहीं मिलती, या हमको फिर उसके लिए जो भी खर्चा करना पड़ता है, जैसे कि वाटर का कंजप्शन क्या है उसको जानने के लिए मीटर लगा सकते हैं, गेजिंग मीटर, तो उस वगैरह का जो कॉस्टिंग आता है वो लोकल पब्लिक बेयर नहीं कर सकती। तो उसके लिए कुछ फंड वगैरह का कोई गुंजाइश हो सकती है? ऐसा कोई मतलब सिक्योर कोई मिल सकता है अपने को कुछ?
मैं समझ पा रहा हूँ कि ड्रिंकिंग वाटर से रिलेटेड है या आपके वेस्ट वाटर से रिलेटेड है आपका क्वेश्चन? क्वेश्चन आपके ड्रिंकिंग वाटर से रिलेटेड है या वेस्ट वाटर से रिलेटेड है? ड्रिंकिंग वाटर से,
ड्रिंकिंग वाटर और जो यूज करते हैं अपने लोकल वाटर, जो लोकल पब्लिक को सपोर्ट करता है वो वाटर।
जो मैंने थोड़ा सा आपको एक अंदाजा दिया अबाउट द मेघालय वाटर, मैं मेघालय मॉडल का, मैं 15 साल से वहाँ करीब काम कर रहा हूँ। तो वहाँ की सोसाइटी बहुत इंडिफरेंट थी, अगर आप सोचें तो, मतलब इधर से कोई जाता था इंडियन बोलते थे, लेकिन धीरे
We
धीरे
are running out of time, so I think we'll conclude with this question. Sorry for some of you to. Anyway, I think I'm very happy that a lot of questions are there. That means you're all concerned about water. You're all worried about water, and many of you know. I know that you are already working wonderfully in water restoration and technology. I'm very happy that Mr. Dr. Arvind Kumar has really shared a lot of data, problem, potential, and policies, program, and coordination. I think one thing he said, there is no lack of resources. What is happening is mismanagement. So that is where I think our role comes. So Arvindji, I think how do you convert these policies and problems into the action? That is what I think all is needed. And ultimately, this is a behavioral change, a mental change, as you say. So unless there is a change amongst people, among government, among thinking, I think it is going to be a challenge still ahead. अनफॉर्चुनेटली वी ऑल नो द प्रॉब्लम बट विस्टिंग अभी इतना सीरियस प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, देखा जाएगा करते हैं तो कुछ हो नहीं रहा है. So how do you create the urgency among the people? That is the right thing I think we will have to do. On behalf of Dhirubhai Desai Ahmedabad Management Center and Innovative Thought Forum in Pesad, I would like to really thank you for sparing your time. And at AMA, we would really like to have some policymakers workshop to share your models. And they will be interested in having the models and action plan. That is data and part is wonderful part, and government is very aware about all the data and problem. But I think the models and implementation thing we would like to share. And thank you very much for all of you attending this very seriously. We have Dhirubhai Desai's trustees also. Some of the trustees are here. But it was a wonderful thing, and I think our foundation doing 30 years of work. So I think it should reflect everywhere, all part of the institution, and SME also you should be, has to touch upon. I think we should touch upon that. So thank you very much for sparing your time, valuable time, and PPG. Thank you very much.